Students, after having studied a little about or having a brief introduction about the different functions of management in the first chapter, which are those 5 functions we had studied about in the first chapter? We had already dealt with it in the first chapter: planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Now, in this particular chapter, that is chapter 4, we will be taking up about planning in detail. Here you can just see I have written down the marks, what questions are asked for how many marks. You will be having one question asked for 1 mark, one question asked for 2 marks, one question asked for 4 marks, and you will be having a POQ questions. Now, just see what are the contents we will be handling under the chapter planning. We will be having a brief introduction, then we go about taking the meaning, the definition, the importance of planning, the features of planning, limitations of planning, the planning process and the types of plans. So, to begin with, let us just have a brief introduction. Everyone knows the main objective of any business is to earn profits. So, you have an objective or a target laid down and you are directing towards achieving your target. So, when that is the case, you need to plan a bit. If you have to earn profits or you have to increase your sales margin, you have to plan well in advance. Now, if you are just going to ask a layman as to what is planning, he will be telling you planning is nothing but deciding or thinking in advance. About what? So, planning is deciding in advance what is to be done, how it is to be done, who has to do it and where it is to be done. So, basically planning is nothing but deciding in advance your future course of action. So, you are directing towards your targets or your aims or your objectives. Then, how are you going to deal with the future situations which you are going to be facing in your future? Let us just take an instance here. If your father is the sole earner of your family, okay, he is getting a monthly salary for about rupees 30,000. Now, he has to plan that how is he going to spend this 30,000 amount for the whole month. There will be various expenses in your household. May it be the electricity bill or the water bill or the house tax, the expenses what you are giving for your ration, and suddenly if someone is falling sick in your family, the medical expenses. So, here he has to set aside for all these expenses. He has to plan as to how he is going to spend it. Now, can you in advance tell who is going to fall sick and when? No, it suddenly happens. So, if he is not setting money aside for meeting his medical expenses, then there is going to be a confusion. There is no proper planning. He will find it difficult to meet the ends till the month end, because salary is paid only once a month. So, if he plans in a very good manner, then he can allot it to all the expenses which is incurred in the household. Now, if you, another example, if you as a sales executive, your sales right now is rupees 5 crores, your sales turnover is rupees 5 crores. You want to increase it to 15 crores. Now, what is the gap between 5 to 15? It is 10 crores. Now, this is the gap. So, planning here helps us to move from where we are from where we are to where we want to go. This is in very simple terms. The meaning of planning is what? You're just deciding well in advance your future course of action. That is, right now I'm here. This is the place where I am and where I want to move. So it's just bridging the gap between the two. From where you are at the present situation, where you want to go in your future situations. So planning helps us in this manner here. If you just go to see, planning is needed in all the areas. May it be an institution, schools or colleges, may it be hospitals, may it be an organization, or may it be a not-for-profit organization. So whichever area you see, planning is needed. Without planning, you are not going to meet your future course of action or your ultimate aim or goal which you have set for. So only with proper planning can you be a successful business person or your organization can do wonders. Mental thinking is a lot with the job of planning. So once you have decided as to what, how, where and who, your fixed course of action is selected. Once you are selecting it, you have to formulate it for when? Formulate and implement it for the future course of action. So as I already here I had mentioned about it, it's nothing but bridging the gap. So here there is a gap of 10 crores. How do you bridge the gap from 5 crores to 15 crores? That is, you want to achieve your sales or you want to increase your sales turnover from 5 crores to 15 crores. How do you bridge the gap of 10 crores? If you want to bridge in the gap of your sales, you have to look into what is the production method or the policy you are following, what are the types of products you are looking into, what is your advertising policy, have you done a thorough study of the marketing? As you all know, earlier it was market oriented, the market was market oriented. Now it is shifted over to consumer oriented. So we have to cater to the needs of our consumers if you have to survive in the market. So if he has to achieve this target, he has to look into, he has to try to bridge that gap from where we are and where we want to go. So this finishes off with the introduction, the meaning and the definition. Students, I hope you are clear with these points. We are now moving on to the importance. Okay, so we have just seen with the meaning and the definition. So here, after having gone with the meaning and definition, to sum up, we can tell that planning involves selecting objectives. You have to select as to what is your ultimate target or your aim or your objective. Only when you have set up a target or an aim, can you move towards it. So without setting up a target, you do not know where to go, right? So first step would involve, that is, setting up objectives. After your objectives are set, comes the next one, deciding what is the action. What are the courses of action you are going to take to achieve what? To achieve organizational objectives. The next one being, you have to choose. So there is not one way. Now if you have planned to move from Hassan to Bangalore, you want to travel from Hassan to Bangalore to attend a business meeting. So if it's a business meeting, it's a very essential or very much needed schedule you have to fix for. So now you plan to move. There are various modes of transport. Either you can take a bus, travel by bus or by railway, or then you'll have to go by airways. Now here, looking into the urgency, the booking of tickets will be done by you. If it's a very urgent meeting and you're already late, you wanted to start yesterday but couldn't, so you're traveling today, you have to reach there tomorrow to attend the board meeting. So if it's an urgent schedule, you will be always booking for a airways. Otherwise, if it's a casual, if it's not a business meeting, you're just going on a casual tour. If you're just going on a casual tour to Bangalore, then you can choose either bus or rail. Or if you are going by your private vehicle, that also is done. So here there are various alternatives available for you to reach your destination, that is Bangalore. Same way here there will be ample number of alternatives. Out of those alternatives you are choosing the best. That comes here, choosing the best course of action. After that is, for this to be done into, put it into action, you have to have a rational approach. You cannot go, when you are planning, you cannot go by your sentiments, you cannot see the sentiments of your subordinates. You have to have a rational approach. Your main aim is what? To see that the organizational target or objective or aim is met. So keeping in mind the objective, you have to have a rational approach towards reaching it. The last one, as we have already told, it will be bridging the gap. You have to move forward. When you are planning, you do not look into your past, or neither are you looking into your present. Your aim is your future. So the future is more relevant to you. So from where you are to where you want to be. This involves planning. After we have finished off with that, we move on to another part of it, that is importance of planning. Why is planning important? We just go on talking out. We have already, I've jotted out the points here. The first one being planning provides directions. This is the first one. Second one, reduces risks of uncertainty. Third, planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. Fourth one, planning promotes innovative ideas. The fifth one, planning facilitates decision making. And the sixth one being planning establishes standard for controlling. We just move on to the first point, that is planning provides directions. It is just giving you direction by stating in advance how the work has to be done. Okay? So it's just giving a direction to see that fruitful efforts of the employees are got. Whatever effort an employee is putting into the job, that has to reap fruitful benefits. It should not go a waste. So to avoid wastage, you try to give directions as to how you have to move. Now, if you want to move from your institution to a public office, maybe to the telephone office. Now, if you want to go there, you do not know the way, it is better, like you see the latest, if you are having your latest mobiles with you, Android mobiles with you, it has got the latest features of giving you the GPS. It gives you directions as to where you have to go. You set your destination. If you are setting the destination or giving the name of the destination, from where to where you want to reach, when you are giving the destination, it shows you the direction and you feel it's free. You are like your tension relieved. You can move on freely. You know I am going in the right direction. But if you do not have a mobile with you, at that time you do not have a mobile, you are just left panicked. You don't know how to go about. So that has not to be the case. So here proper guidelines or proper directions should be given in your planning process. That's the first point. Next one being planning reduces the risk of uncertainty. Now here in planning, you try to analyze the business environment in a systematic manner. Okay? You try to analyze each and every aspect of business environment whichever is affecting your organization in a systematic manner. Only when you have analyzed it, you come to know what are the risks or uncertainties you might face in future. Now, if your planning is good and you analyze and scan the business environment, what happens? It becomes easier for you. In case any risk or uncertainty arises in future, you are ready to face it. You have made proper planning for that. You know, every organization or where any workplace needs to have a fire extinguisher. In case an organization doesn't have it, then you just imagine because of a small short circuit in the electricity board. Fire occurs. What can you do? You will be just panicked. You don't know how to meet the situation. There are chances that the whole of the building may come under fire. So to avoid that, you have to properly plan for a fire extinguisher. This is a small example given there. So you should always be ready. In case I meet a situation of this type in future, how am I going to face it? When you're already set for it, then you don't have the fear of facing it. You're already prepared yourself for that particular situation. So as managers has to face the uncertainty, planning tries to what? Tries to reduce the risk of uncertainties for the future by making certain assumptions. You assume that if such a situation, if I am facing such a situation, how am I going to come out of it? Only then you have a clear-cut idea as to where you are directed towards, and you can reach your objective very safely. You just imagine you have a football team. Your college has a football team and you are one of the players in it. So when you go for a football match, your main strategy is what? Along with your coach, you have a game strategy. You try to see that how many goals can my team score? And then how can I defend the other, stop the other team from getting goals? So there will be a game strategy set up, and it has to be in a teamwork. It's not one player playing there. It's a whole team. You're playing as a team. If each one sees your individual achievement, it's not going to work out. Only when you're working as a team can you aim at winning the match. Winning or losing is secondary, but the game spirit, the competition what you give to the other person, that is very much needed. Okay? So that finishes off with the second point, that is reducing risk of uncertainty. We come on to the third point. Planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. Now here, what do you mean by overlapping? Overlapping is nothing but repetition. Okay? So overlapping is a repetition of the same job again and again. So here, planning helps us or provides a base for coordinating your activities of individuals as well as departments. Only when all the activities of each individual and each department within the organization is working together in proper understanding and coordination between the departments and individuals will there be successful planning done. This will show that the plan is successful. Okay? Now here we can just take an example. You are 4 friends, okay, and you have planned to go for a movie. You want to go in for you have decided, you get together, you have decided, okay, we'll go to such and such mall to watch the movie, and you have decided the movie, you have decided that at what time you are going to be there in the theater. Those things are decided. You just talk about that and just move about, and then you're planning, okay, at evening at 6 o'clock we'll be there in the theater, we'll meet at the theater. And in what happens is, each one of you all, you have not consulted, you do not know what the other person is going to take the ticket or not. You have not decided on the fact that who is going to purchase the ticket. What you all do, each one takes 4 tickets. Right? Each one has taken 4 tickets, and then evening when you're meeting, you all are shocked. All the 4 friends has 4 tickets each. Isn't it wasted? Your money is wasted. So same way within an organization. Now instead of that, if a proper planning was done, they had decided, now see which place they had decided, what's a movie they had decided, time they had decided, but what was not there? They didn't take the initiative as to who was going to purchase the tickets for them. Same way in an organization, it should not be done. There should not be overlapping. The same job is done by so many people. It should be avoided. When there's overlapping, obviously there's going to be wastage of activities, that is even the resources whatever is there, it's going to go a waste. So always try to reduce overlapping and wasteful activities. Moving on to the next point, planning promotes innovative ideas. Now you all know planning helps us to decide, decision making. It helps us to choose the best available alternatives. There are various alternative courses of action. Among those alternative courses of action, you are selecting which is the best one, right? Once you have selected the best one, you put it into put it into practice. Now, when you are selecting which is the best one, you have to first see the pros and cons of it, the positives and the negatives in it. If there are more of negatives than positives, it's not going to work out. The planning is going to be there will be a decline in the planning section. If you have more of positives than negatives, then that plan is said to be a good one and you put it into action. Here we can just take here innovative ideas are needed, something new is needed, not your usual course of action. You go on in the same way, you are looking into the past plan. You are looking into your past plans and putting the same plan into action this year. No, sometimes there may be changes in the environment. When there are changes in the environment, it may be, there may be a change in the political party, there may be change in certain policies which is brought out by the government. So when such is the case, you cannot carry on the same old plan to the future, right? You have to have your innovations there. Try to bring about some changes there. Now, if you are going to see the present situation in this pandemic time of COVID-19, our students were so much used to classroom teaching, right? But now, at this present situation, when all these schools and colleges are closed down because of COVID-19 and it's not possible for us to go to our classrooms, we have shifted. Now the department has thought of it and we have shifted from the classroom teaching to virtual teaching so that the students do not miss the lessons, because by now when it's 2 or 3 months, almost the first test was fast approaching in the month of August. So keeping that in mind, the education department thought of it and they went in for virtual teaching to the students. So the students are benefited with the lessons by being at home. They are going to go to their schools or colleges, they are at home, but they are not wasting their time. Their lessons are going on through virtual teaching. So looking into the situations, here changes are made, innovative. So I as a teacher, when I come to my class to teach, I have to see to it how I can make my classes interesting by having some innovative ideas. If I am going on monologues without any expressions, without any examples, students are sure to be feeling bored. So if I have to attract the attention of all the students and see that my class is good, then I have to have certain innovative ideas, some skills in teaching so that my lesson becomes interesting. So this is what we were discussing about the point, planning promotes promotes the innovative ideas. Coming to the next point, planning facilitates decision making. So if you have to decide, it helps you by how? Among the various alternative courses of action what you have got, you try to decide, come to a decision as to which is the best alternative. Looking into what? Looking into the pros and cons of it. All the cons, what are the good plus points and the negative points, the positives and the negatives. If you have come out with a final plan, you should see that it has got more of positives than the negatives. Only then it's going to be, or the least of negatives. Absolutely without any negatives you cannot move forward. There will be negatives, but you try to reduce, it should be the least negatives which is there in that particular planning strategy. Here you can just take an example for decisions I am telling here. There are 5 students in a class, okay, and 5 of them are planning to get a distinction. Now each one's way of studying or how they approach a study plan, it might be different. You cannot look into another student and tell, okay, she or he is studying in that way, I should also follow the same. No. Each student's IQ, way of thinking, way of planning will be quite different. You yourself sit and analyze and see to it which is the best I can opt for myself, which is the best decision I can opt for myself. Now, after you have completed, this was a light example, we are just moving on to another one. Now, after your PUC, there are so many fields available, so many streams available for your future studies. Some students may want to do B.Com, some may intend to go in for doing B.E.M, others along with B.Com they go for CA or CS. So, there are so many streams. Now, you have to decide for yourself. You cannot have a competition because my friend is going in to do that particular course, even I will be doing. No. Your friends and your mentality, thinking, your IQ level, your capacities may be different. So, here you take decision as to which is the best for me, not for another person. So, here we cannot look into our competitor. What strategy your competitor is following? No. You have to see what works out best for you and not for your competitor. So, when there are various alternatives, out of the various alternative courses of action, which is the best one suited for you to achieve your ultimate objective is your aim. The last one being planning establishes standards for controlling. Now, what do you mean by controlling? Controlling is nothing but having a comparison. Comparison between what? Between your actual performance and planned performance. So, when you compare, do you come to know your shortcomings? Or if you have done good, okay, how did I go better? If it is fallen short, what are your shortcomings? So, if you have to know what are your shortcomings, you should have something to compare. So, here you are just comparing your actual performance with what? With the standards set. As a student, when you are aiming or you are going in for your annual examination, you should set up your standard. What is the percentage I want to score? Once you have set up the target for yourself, and you try, now you are going and appearing for your exams, you have done good, the results are out, you had set up a target that I will achieve, I am striving for a 95%. But when the results are out, you come to know that you have got 85%. From 95 to 85. 85 is your actual performance, 95 was the standard set. Now, then you have, when you set up a base of comparison, can you compare? If you don't set up a target to compare, what are you going to have a comparison with? So, there should have, you have to set a standard and then your actual. So, when you have a comparison, do you come to know what are your shortcomings, how I can overcome my shortcomings for my future course of action. Try to rectify those shortcomings. Try to see that you solve all those shortcomings so that in the future course of action, when you strive to or try to attain your objective in future, you are doing better than the past. So, never take the past experiences can be taken into consideration, but not the exact plan of the past can you put it into action right now. You can just take it for comparing. So, here it is just giving a base, that is standards which you are setting for controlling, it is just putting a base for your control, for your planning. So, with this we finish off with the importance of planning. The first one being planning provides directions, Planning reduces risk of uncertainty. Planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. Planning promotes innovative ideas. Planning facilitates decision making, and the last one being planning establishes standards for controlling.